Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
I mean,
what?
Are people so fucking stupid, Dallas?
Yes. 100%. Final thoughts? People are fucking dumb.
That's
great show, boys.
That's all I got. That's all I got today. People are fucking stupid, dude. Like the number of times in just like the last couple of days that I've tweeted something out and the reaction is like, you just don't get you. Like, how do you whiff on what I said here? Like, I tweeted out the numbers for Game 7. Like, anytime that baseball does something big or important or like is breaking records, I'll tweet baseball is dead as a caption every time. Game 7 of the 2025 World Series averaged 51 million viewers combined across the United States, Canada, and Japan, making the thrilling 11-game contest or 11-inning contest the most watched MLB game in 34 years since Game 7 of the 1991 World Series. And I said, baseball is dead, because that's what we do here, right? That's the whole shtick. That's the catchphrase. Mm-hmm. The amount of people that it just went right over their head and did not get it. It's alarming. It's alarming, but that's a conversation for another day. I think the conversation at hand here is 51 million viewers combined across the United States, Canada, and Japan. That was the number that we were asking for, because we were like, how does the Nielsen thing work? Like, what ratings are we really looking at here? Like, we wanted to know United States, we wanted to know Canada, and we wanted to know Japan. And that was 51 million viewers for Game 7 of the World Series. And obviously, you can never win. Like, there's always a devil's advocate side to it. It's like, well, of course it did 51 million. Like, they have fucking Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto and Sasaki. So obviously Japan's going to watch. And then obviously all of Canada's going to watch because it's the Blue Jays. Like, it's the matchup. All right, fine. It's the matchup. But like, that's what the matchup was. Mm-hmm. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, in that situation? But that's... To your point, it would be alarming if no one watched, if they were like, wait, so you had an entire country represented in the World Series and all of Japan's going to be watching, and it's played in the United States. So obviously United States should be watching and no one cared. Then that's the conversation. But that's not what happened. 51 million people between those three countries tuned in to watch.
Yeah, but that's again, that's why everybody, that's what the internet is for. Jared, that's what the internet is for, is to just argue with facts. And you don't like it, it doesn't make sense. There is some validity to what you just said, because that was what I have explained to people, because I've been fighting those battles right here on the ground in good old Simi Valley. Like, you really think that many people care about it? I was talking to a guy at the gym yesterday about this in between fucking throwing up. Side note.
Yeah, I got that that update. We do need to touch on that at some point.
Yeah. He was like, bro, the NBA, and I was like, are you fucking higher than I am right now? Because there's no. The numbers tell you what they tell you. And we started to get into the trends of, how the games are going, and I was just like, bro, I can't do this right now. And I went and like sat off to the side. I was like I'm looking around, looking in the fucking stretch room in the mirrors, like, what the fuck am I missing? Why are people, it almost feels like there's anger, like you're mad, that baseball is doing well, or they're mad that baseball is growing in the face of what this narrative has been about how the sport is dying. And I understand, because of the residual effect from the lockout a few years ago, and the idea that the conversation during this 3-year stretch has been about the looming lockout coming up, and I can understand all of that, but you just cannot spit in the face of the numbers that were produced based on consumption. And I get it, Canada, Japan, but that's all part of the game. That's part of the game. I will just remind folks that in terms of international pull, meaning the continents from which you are pulling performers, I'd be willing to bet that the NBA and their geographical reach is far more expansive than that of Major League Baseball, because there are countries where they're just not playing baseball, and there are countries where they are playing basketball in those countries. And so in terms of eyeballs on it, like, that draw that you're talking about from Japan and Canada, that potential draw, and I'm not saying to that extent because I don't know how many, let's pick a country, Lithuania. I don't know how many guys from the NBA or from Lithuania are in the NBA, but let's say you had 3 dudes on one team that were like top 25 players in the game in their respective like roles. Would eyeballs not be on that game? I got to believe so. I got to believe so. And now just think about the global impact, man. So when I hear those conversations, I do to myself, I smile and I kind of chuckle because it's like, you know what, man? And everybody said it to an extent, at least they're talking about baseball, but I'm kind of, I'm ready to graduate from that. And I've been ready to graduate from that at least they're talking about baseball, because that means it's like, well, we don't care, right? Any press is good press. And that's, I think the game is in such a good place in terms of talent and in terms of finding a place where consumption has been at its highest. I think we deserve as an industry to move past just being grateful that people are talking about baseball, because the players who have performed over the last decade plus and the changes that have been made, even in the face of some changes that have encountered resistance, the game's in a great spot. It's in a great spot and it's tough to ignore.
I'll add to that briefly. I want to get your thoughts, Jay, as well. But the idea, this theory or narrative that the Dodgers are ruining baseball.
Come on.
I mean, for me, I'm in my mid 30s. My childhood was the late 90s, basically. And that's when the Yankees were winning back-to-back World Series titles. And me being a Red Sox fan, hating the Yankees because they were winning and they had stars, and I had passion and anger and rage because I wanted them to lose so badly. I wanted my team, the Red Sox, to be the team that took them down. So when we have these conversations, and I'm sure we'll have plenty more about the lockout and things of that nature, about a salary cap and what have you, I don't think we're not gonna see a salary cap. I don't think that that's coming, and I don't think it's necessary either. When I look at what the Dodgers have accomplished, winning 2 consecutive World Series titles, having far and away the largest payroll in the sport, the Blue Jays were 2 outs away from toppling them. 2 outs away. Like, you can't, like, if the Dodgers went to that World Series and won it in 4, or a gentleman's sweep of 5, like they dismissed the Yankees a year prior, and it's like, man, like, they're spending all this money, they have all these superstars, nobody can touch them. That's not true. They're incredibly talented. They're back-to-back World Series champions, but there is a blueprint on how to beat them. They're not unbeatable. Like, they won the World Series in 7 games. They were 2 outs away. They were a Andy Page's fucking shoulder tackle away from losing that World Series. They were an IKF base running decision away from losing that World Series. They're beatable.
So what you just brought up, think about that. Everybody rallying or railing against IKF for the lead situation. And what has the big conversation been? You can do it differently. You can do it differently. Just because it's been done that way for so many years, and you've had so many baseball people with all this experience tell you that tried and true, this is kind of the way we'd like to do it. I don't know how many of you even saw the video that Passan posted. I didn't even repost it today because I was just like, I just don't even want to do it. But you can see the third base coach step up to the line in the base path and draw the line of demarcation. Stop here. Don't go any further. So if you have a problem with that, fantastic. But all I kept hearing was, you can do things differently. You don't have to do it that way. You can do things differently. To hell with all of your knowledge. You can do it differently. Okay. Why don't those fans keep that same energy when talking about these baseball teams, the front offices? You can do it differently. You're saving money. You're only spending money to an X amount, and then you're taking whatever comes with that spending and calling that your effort. I think we've all understood that you could do it differently. You could spend more. You could spend differently. So why is that not an option? Why is the default to just try to level the playing field and floor and cap this thing? Why? Why? I don't understand why. And I don't understand why people, and Coley made this point on Twitter the other day, but why people are so quick to jump and defend corporations. Corporations. When your iPhone doesn't work and you're cussing Apple to the fucking tilt, where are you at there? Where it's a corporation. Get off their back. They're trying the best they can. You know how many customers that they have to keep track of and take care of? Like, cut them some slack. Why don't we have that approach? Why don't I just, man, it is so confusing. It really is.
Would love to talk with you about that offline, DB. Think that would be a great one for us.
What's that?
The answer to that, or my my response to it at the very least. Listen, I think in terms, I'll go in reverse order. The Dodgers stuff. I mean, you guys know how I feel about the salary cap and the Dodgers place. There is a fetishization of what the NFL projects itself to be among the other sports. And even though we all know that there isn't more parity per se in the NFL than there is in Major League Baseball, there's certainly a perception that there is. And just because that's their league setup and that's how they've thrived doesn't mean that's what's best for other leagues or other setups. And I think the NBA and Major League Baseball are both examples of where that is definitively, in my opinion, not the best setup. And Jared hit on it with the Yankees. I'm a little bit older than Jared, but it's the same fucking idea. I hated the Yankees. Like, that was, being a Cleveland fan was the primary part, and hating the fuck out of the Yankees was the secondary but primary part of my fandom growing up too. And that didn't fade until I became an adult and had to work or was blessed to work in the industry and just had to kind of let that shit go. And that was definitely embedded in it, and it drove my fandom in the sport to a degree. And I saw people responding to this rating stuff about like, oh, well, people weren't actually interested in watching the World Series. They were interested in watching the Dodgers lose or to root against the Dodgers. And I'm like, if that's even a distinction, it's one without a difference, right? Because that's the whole fucking idea, is that that's the point of having a really good team, or a team that signs all the good players for a period of time or dominates the headlines, is that they drive people's hatred and animosity and get them to tune in, whether that's clicking on the game itself or engaging in the content around the game or whatever. And it's like, I think that's good for baseball. And do I think it's good for it to be the way that, do I think it's just good that the Dodgers are that team for the rest of time? No, but it's not going to be that way. And like, this stuff is always cyclical, and like, they'll have a long run. Yeah. And it may be a dominant run, and it may be unprecedented, but it will change eventually. And like, we're talking about all of this stuff because the Dodgers have sucked people in to talk about it. If the Dodgers did what they did during the regular season and flamed out in the NLCS or the DS or whatever, and then it was, Blue Jays over fucking whoever, I don't even care at this point. It's like, that would be maybe a very exciting World Series. It would not transcend the conversation in the way that it is right now because of the way that the Blue Jays lost and the Dodgers succeeded. And that's why people are talking about this. And that's why so many people tuned in.
Jay, you are a voracious reader. Books, stories typically have a protagonist.
Yeah, sure.
And an antagonist. And for those who, good guy, bad guy. Okay. Good guy, bad guy. And I think it could almost be argued that your investment, if you are rage watching and you are hate watching, your investment is greater than even you can acknowledge.
That is when I do my best watching. It's when I do my best anything.
Like, that's so when people have made the decision to not go outside, not go to dinner, not do X, and instead watch this because they're not invested, I don't need to hear any more out of you. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you're invested because you're just like everybody else. You love the underdog story. You want to see Goliath catch one in the eyeball, and you want to see David with his fucking slingshot standing on top of the mountain. You want that because you feel like yourself at some point in time have been that underdog battling Goliath. So anytime you have a chance to watch the giant fall, you are locked the fuck in.
Sure.
And if that giant is impeding your team's progress, you're invested all the more. And if that giant doesn't exist, then what are you after? Like, I'm not saying that you're not as invested, but let's just talk about this. If there is no giant to slay, it's almost like the veracity of your hate or of your is kind of tempered a little because now it's just about, well, I really hope my team puts together a good season. But what if I was able to sprinkle in just a little bit of anxiety because of that other team who just bought all these players? And how do you feel about that now? You a little more invested? Well, not really. I don't want to see those guys win. Oh, so you are.
Well, and you're talking about a fan of a specific team, right? Like being more engaged in the season because they're slaying a giant, and I think there's a lot of truth to that. Where I think an additional compelling element is that so I'm not a fan of any NBA team, right? I am a casual NBA fan in the sense that I'm not following any individual team on a night by night basis. I am following the league on a nightly basis, but like I was never more invested in my adulthood in the outcome of an NBA season game peak than when I was rooting with all of my energy that LeBron took down the 72 win Warriors, like a decade ago, basically at this point. And like, I was almost a decade ago. I was like sweating in my palms. I remember where I was. And like, I am that's a person getting pulled into that almost exclusively because there is a world historic giant that is ready to be slayed, right? And that was the case, or could potentially be slayed almost single-handedly by like one dude, right? Even though it's not actually one dude. And so like I'm going to be tuning in every year for baseball as a hardcore fan for obvious reasons. I'm going to now be looking for somebody to slay this giant in a way that I just haven't been leading up to this point because back-to-back's different than one title, right? And the way they achieved it is different than the way they achieved it. It's just, I don't know. I just find it incredibly compelling moving forward. It's the number one storyline going into next season.
And I think sports fans at times, Jay, almost get to a point where it's like you yearn for that giant to be slayed. And then once it's been slayed, you now point your target on the one who just slayed the giant. And you're like, all right, now let's get this person, right? Sure. Because like all we wanted to see when Ohtani showed up was everything that he was going to be capable of doing. We started to watch it unfold. We were left in awe. And then we started to realize, oh, fuck, if he does this every year, like, bro, the MVP is not even a conversation anymore. Like, this is just he's just the MVP every year. And that conversation got hot and then it got cold because fans just cannibalized it and said, nope, you know what? No, we're done with Ohtani being awesome. He hits, he pitches, we get it, but we're now over that. Let's focus on this. And it became that quick. It happened. Ohtani fatigue. Think about that. Your sport being handed the best talent it's ever seen. And in a matter of a handful of years, you were like, yeah, but what's next? Like, I'm over that. Like, what the fuck? You're over that? Come on. Over that? How do we keep this alive for 20 years? Like, that's what I'm worried about. That's what I want to know. So yeah, it just feels like fans at times do find ways to, whether it be intentionally or not be happy anymore with what they were actually after. But again, I think the beautiful part about sports fandom, and I believe this and I feel this way. You don't owe me a single explanation on why you hate somebody, on why you want this to happen, you're a fan, man. You don't owe me shit. You don't owe me nothing. So I can appreciate maniacal fandom as well. But to an extent, it becomes something that we do talk about.
Underdog Fantasy owes me for that Game 7 pick'em. I actually just got I just got a DM from someone this morning, I can't remember, and he was like, yo, so I took your Game 7 pick'em and got arrested that night, just got out of jail, and saw that it hit. So thank you. He's like, that's
great.
That was pretty cool to come out of
Great.
prison and see that I had made some money.
Well, I mean, fuck, commissary could have probably looked a little different had he caught wind of that early. A couple of honey buns and he'd have been living the good life.
Yeah. Yeah, shout him out. Underdog is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats like strikeouts, total bases, home runs, and so much more. But you can't do that. So you're probably going to want to make entries of other sports. You can do that. You can mix and match as many sports as you want. Basketball, football, you got it. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's Jared to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Yeah, we didn't get to talk about that Hall of Fame ballot. I do want to hit on that now. It's obviously going to be a large topic of discussion if and when any of these names get in. I think the discussions that you can have about certain individuals that are on this ballot, they're not all going to be the same flavor, so to speak. Like, you're not going to have the same conversation about a Don Mattingly that you would have about a Barry Bonds. It's just, it's not the same thing. But Carlos Delgado is on this ballot. Jeff Kent, Gary Sheffield, obviously a different conversation. But I kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on just the entire concept, like the idea that this is even necessary because of the writers. Like, if the writers don't get it right, they're not the ultimate say on this, that there will be players who still have a chance to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Is it, like, are you guys? I don't know where you guys stand on this. I'm sure with Barry it's one, but I don't know how you guys feel about Clemens. Like, is the Baseball Hall of Fame some sort of farce if those guys get in? Like, I feel like Jay Hay is our resident, very passionate Cooperstown baseball fan. So I'm going to ask Jay Hay first. If there were to be an announcement and Barry's getting in and Clemens is getting in, but then like Don Mattingly has to share the same like, is that like something that would bother you? Because I remember like there was like one year where it's like, all right, well, like, we'll put them all in, but like separately. And it's like, will that take away from the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're either in or they're not, right? So let's start there. I don't want some sort of backdoors. I mean, this is the contemporary Hall of Fame ballot, so in some ways, there's a little bit of a backdoor element to it, I guess. Rather than the traditional pathway forward. But we always knew that this was going to be the home, or we have long known that this was going to be the way that Bonds and Clemens were going to get into the Hall of Fame if they were going to get in. So that they're here and the time is now is not surprising. I don't think there's any way to avoid any awkwardness. So like this idea that Bonds, Clemens, and Mattingly is the Hall of Fame class or whatever, you've made your bed. That's kind of like what the deal is now. And I don't think that putting them in their own, unless they are the only two inducted, just because that's how people feel. Okay, I guess. Then I still feel like that's maybe even more awkward, honestly. I don't think that reduces the awkwardness. Maybe for Don Mattingly personally, because he gets to go on a stage at a different time. I'm not really sure. Is it a farce? I do feel like I'm a little bit over the Bonds Clemens Hall of Fame stuff. Like we almost feel post this stuff. And if they get in, I will feel some sort of way about it, I guess, but it's not going to be celebratory probably in the way that maybe a younger version of me would have celebrated it. But there's just no way for me to logically align the idea that Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame and Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are not. If it is PED, PED driven. So if you have another argument that somebody wants to put forward as to why we're drawing a different distinction there, I guess I'm interested in hearing it. But from my angle, if Selig is in, then Bonds and Clemens need to be in. And somebody responded to me tweeting something similar to that this morning, that two wrongs don't make a right. Okay, let's take Bud Selig out. because that's not some 1925 decision that feels too long ago to rectify or whatever. Like, if that's how we feel about it, then let's take him out, because not every commissioner is in the Hall of Fame. Bud Selig does not need to be in the Hall of Fame. So we need to get an alignment logically there, because they're the players. They should take priority in the first place. They're two of the greatest. And if PEDs are tacitly okay, because we all know Bud Selig knew and looked the other way, certainly after a point, allegedly, then that needs to be squared away for me.
That's that right there. That last little word is the only, in my opinion, is the glue to the argument for Bud Selig staying in the Hall of Fame.
But nobody believes that. That's not that. That's like
Jay, but that's that, dude. You and I,
but it's still allegedly for the other dudes too, isn't it? On some level,
hey, buddy, you and I are holding hands on this path. Okay,
all right. I'm not yelling at you.
I know. You're just yelling. I know.
I'm just kind of yelling.
You're just fucking yelling. I respect that. But that's the argument. That's the point. That is the hurdle that we are never going to clear, and that sucks. So, and just to go back to the conversation around Bonds and Clemens, for me, you won't, that conversation, if I were to put it in like human form or like in the world form, that is like you having a 28-year-old chocolate lab that has survived 28 years. The dog is riddled with arthritis and every other bit of cancer you could possibly think. You have to pump this dog full of steroids and medicine 6 times a day just to keep the fucking thing breathing. It's laying in the corner. It's pissing and shitting itself. It hasn't eaten for 6 years because you've been having a fucking feeding tube. You're just trying to keep it alive. And if you walked in the fucking room 10 minutes from now and it wasn't breathing, you would probably feel the same amount of relief as you do sorrow, and you would be able to move on. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I would be heartbroken if it was just another part of our game that was kept out of the building built to tell the stories of our game. But I think at that point in time, everything that you would think the Hall represents, I think people would very quickly start to make their own decisions and determinations on just how much of a spectacle it is at this point, and whether or not it's something they even need to entertain or value any further, because it quite literally just starts to become a cherry picking selection. And I don't think anybody who has played this game and has put together the careers that these individuals we're talking about wants to have it nitpicked and cherry picked like that, and find out on the other end that they're just not going to get the acknowledgement for some ridiculous reason. Like as far as the conversation goes, I think I'm kind of done having it.
I'm going to continue it for just a second though. Can I? Can we just keep it going for one more second?
Sure.
Because to me, there's like another cognitive like dissonance that's going on that is really hard to overcome as a baseball fan. And we're going to put the Baines meter bit aside for a second. Okay. But we are going to talk momentarily about Harold Baines, because I think it makes this ballot in particular incredibly difficult to parse, because by the standard, and I'm not trying to be mean, I'm not trying to be funny, by the standard of Harold Baines, which just fucking happened. It just happened. Basically, all of these people are Hall of Famers. And like Valenzuela, whatever, it's a pitcher, we can have a separate conversation. Don Mattingly is definitively a better player than Harold Baines. He is definitively a better player, and that's factoring in that his career was cut short. Like, fuck peak value, right? Like, Dale Murphy is definitely a better player than Harold Baines. Like, Gary Sheffield, like on stats, whatever, it's a separate conversation. Carlos Delgado, like, you put Carlos Delgado's numbers up against Harold Baines' numbers, and it's kind of like, what the fuck are we doing? And it's like, so I'm not passionate at all about the candidacies of Carlos Delgado, Dale Murphy, or Don Mattingly. In fact, if it was just up to me and I was creating my own Hall of Fame, none of those three would be in the Hall of Fame. But by the standard that these sorts of ballots themselves, that's not even a BBWA thing. You can't even point and be like, well, that's them. this is the same type of thing. And Harold Baines is getting in this path. How can you not then turn around and put in Don Mattingly and Dale Murphy and people like Don Mattingly's like the same fucking position. Carlos Delgado, same, like so that's another part for me where it's like, these guys are all Hall of Famers, I guess, but simultaneously you putting all of these people in is going to make me feel less passionately about the Hall of Fame. Right. So,
yeah. Well, that's to my point is,
how do you navigate?
You, Jay Hay, as we have outlined, the one who probably cares the most about this. And I will say this, and I'll say this confidently, because I've highlighted the 3 reasons why I ever wanted to grow up and be a baseball player. Right. I wanted to go to the Hall of Fame. I wanted my own baseball card. Or 4. I want to go to the Hall of Fame. Wanted my own baseball card. I wanted to be in a video game. And I wanted my own poster. Those are my 4 reasons for playing baseball. And the Hall of Fame was at the top of that fucking list. It's at the top of everybody's list.
Yeah.
Why do you play? I play to be the best I can be. And I think that I can be better than anybody else that's ever done it. So that's why I work as hard as I do, blah, 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 blah. But when that started getting eroded and chipped away at, and I continued to grow and mature and really have the eyes opened up to the business side of this, and then you really get the curtain pulled back and you're on the other side of the curtain and you're hearing the conversations and you're privy to the conversations and you watch and you become educated on how these writers move and manipulate their votes to bolster one candidacy and to essentially and effectively railroad another. That's where I was like, oh shit, this really does happen. Okay. Damn, man. It's almost like being a part of the Men in Black. Like I know what goes on. Well, I know you thought that was just a close call. The fucking world almost ended right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I hate to see this go this way, but this is absolutely the path that I think this continues to go down. When's the last time, I'll ask, when's the last time that the Hall of Fame, I guess, made a redeemable decision that people were like, you know what? Love that. Appreciate that. And I'm being serious. I'm not saying like, when's the last time? Like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, when was the last time the Hall of Fame made a decision where we were like, that feels right? I can't think.
I mean, in terms of putting somebody in, I mean, I guess eventually they make right decisions in that. I mean, structurally, I'm not really sure of an example of what you're talking about. Like, or I can't come up with one is my point. Yeah. I don't want this to be taken out of context. So I'll say that the specific comments that Curt Schilling made, as it relates to what got him kind of like pushed off of the Hall of Fame consciousness forever or whatever, are reprehensible. And I obviously do not endorse basically anything related to Curt Schilling at this point. But I think underlying that comment, knowing what I know, was a sentiment that I think is relatable, which is that he felt after the initial rejection that there was like well, fuck this. Like, fuck that. Like, I am 100% a Hall of Famer. And he was right about that from a statistical standpoint before shit got off the rails, off the field, I guess. He was right. And I understand the reaction of these motherfuckers are going to keep me out of the Hall of Fame for what? Like, it can't be the stats. It can't be what I did on the field. It can't be what I did on the field at the highest level in the most important moments in the postseason, in the World Series. Can't be any of that. So what is it?
They just don't like
and so like you get over it. And like, again, all the other stuff aside, like this idea that you can get over this decision in some way. Like if I'm Barry or I'm Roger, maybe they feel differently and God bless them if they do. If it was me, I think I would be like, I'm fucking over this shit. I am over this.
You have been.
And Schill didn't even use PEDs. So like, I'm not trying to draw a link there, as far as we know, like I'm not allegedly, whatever you got to say. But like, so it's a different thing, like in terms of him being mad. But even if I'm Barry or Roger, I still feel like Bud Selig's in the fucking Hall of Fame.
Well, that's the one like, and I think this happens in arguments, right? Like there's a point made. There's a very, very valid question that's being asked. And instead of answering that question and then walking away with maybe a different perspective, that question just gets overlooked and we just keep going down the line. But if we stop at the why is Bud Selig in and why can't we pull him out? If we stop there and have a very real conversation about those things, it feels like we might be able to arrive at a place where we can come to peace with the decision that is inevitably coming regarding these other guys. Because the only difference between those two is, or between those three, is two of them were playing and the other one was overseeing their playing careers. Like, if the rule maker is in, then and he allowed the rule breakers to exist, how do the rule breakers, allegedly, how does that all work out?
My issue with this, and maybe that's not the correct word because I don't necessarily have an issue with them getting in. Like I want Barry and Roger to get in. But if we're to believe Jose Canseco, who's as dumb as they come, but has yet to tell a lie. Like he's told us, I believe the number he gave officially is 5. I think he's on the record as saying there are 5 players that I know that have taken PEDs that are in the Hall of Fame already. Okay. So if your job is to keep the PED users out, you've already failed. That's number 1. Number 2, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds were the best of all time. Like, we're talking 7-time Cy Young Award winner. If you listen to the segment that Jay Hayes done on the offseason pods, he should probably have more than 7. Barry Bonds, 7 MVPs, the most of all time. Like, we're talking about the all-time home runs leader. We're talking about 2 of the best of all time at what they did that should be Hall of Famers. Okay. So you put those 2 in, which I think that you should. Then that opens up the door to all the other steroid guys. Like, the narrative is Clemens would have been a Hall of Famer without it. Bonds would have been a Hall of Famer without it. Okay, fine. But then what about the guys that only became Hall of Famers because of it? Then what do you do there? What does that conversation look like?
And that's where, and that's where, and we don't need to go down this slippery slope or this rabbit hole, if you will. But then the argument becomes, steroids didn't make me better. They allowed my body to recover. That's what they did.
Yeah, they allowed
my body to recover. They made me stronger. I had the hand-eye coordination.
Did you see the David Justice interview that he did with Matt Barnes?
Parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, like the entirety.
He was kind of talking about this, the same idea, where he was saying, like, it's for recovery. Like, if we play 162 games and I feel like on my A game at my peak for 100 of those games, that's a great season. But some of these guys that were taking HGH or steroids, it's like now you're at your peak for 130, 140 games. So that's what that looks like. But one of the things he said I disagreed with was steroids doesn't make you a better baseball player. I disagree. I think it gives you the strength to be able to hit balls farther that wouldn't have been home runs prior to that or doubles in the gap. Like, those are not, like, it makes your numbers better. Like, it absolutely does.
Makes you a better athlete. And then from there, because you are a stronger athlete, your tools are enhanced. But in terms of putting the bat on the ball, in terms of throwing the ball where you want, in terms of fielding the ball how you want, and that right there could be an argument because you're saying, well, if I am physically capable of moving around, like I haven't played 150 games, like it's my first game, isn't that helping me be a baseball player? No, it's helping you be an athlete because your bat to ball skill is not enhanced. It's just sustained in terms of how hard you're hitting the ball. I have no disagreement with that whatsoever because that is fact. That is fact, right? A guy who is 180 pounds might be able, kind of like Mookie Betts, still be able to drive the ball just like a guy who's 230 pounds. That's possible. We watch it happen. I mean, Ellie De La Cruz, how much does that guy weigh? Like, in a strong wind, we're worried that we're going to lose the shortstop at any point in time. And this guy can drop dick with the best of them. I go ahead, Jay.
No, I just, like, in terms of where do you draw the line? What do you do with those guys that are quote unquote fringe or wouldn't have been it without it? If Canseco is to be taken at his word for the purposes of this discussion and 5 proven whatever PED users are already in the Hall of Fame, the gatekeepers have proven to be insufficient to the job of determining who is and is not using them if they've put 5 people in who have used. So I don't need them to be that gatekeeper in that regard. Worry about the stats, worry about the accolades. What type of baseball player were they? Were they fucking absolutely reprehensible off the field? Okay, let's take it into consideration. But like, what was the resume? Okay. I don't need you to retroactively do stuff. Like if we want to talk about proven tests on the books, like you tested positive for this after a certain date, like the year where this was kind of like codified in the rule book, and you test positive, it is a suspension of varying length depending on when we're talking about. Fine, that's a different conversation in some level in terms of if you want to draw a line there. I don't believe the process of the Mitchell report was sufficient to be keeping people out of the Hall of Fame. And I don't think that the BBWAA has proven capable of determining who is and is not using, regardless of whether Canseco's number is exactly correct or not. So for those fringe people, are they Hall of Fame worthy? Are they not? Okay, I think then they should be in. And if we need to take action afterwards because certain things have come to light, I'm not quite clear why we can't do that. Like, why can't we do that?
Yeah. How about this, Jay? In the 7 years that Barry Bonds was a Pittsburgh Pirate, and this is the conversation, this is the argument that has been had plenty of times, based on the individuals that are going in or on this ballot right now.
Yeah.
The only people with a higher WAR during the time Barry was a Pirate, and this is out of Gary Sheffield, Don Mattingly, Jeff Kent. We'll leave Fernando out of it, and I threw Harold in there as well. But Jeff Kent and Gary are the only dudes that have a higher WAR than Barry during his first 7 years of his baseball career. That's it. Gary Sheffield's career WAR is 60.5. Jeff Kent's is 55.4. Barry Bonds, during his 7 years as a Pirate, accumulated 50.3 WAR. So, before? Yeah. After? Like, what are we doing? Roger Clemens? Look that up. Motherfucker's got 140 wins above replacement to his credit. Just, what are we doing? What conversation are we really having? And it seems like it's. Go ahead.
I think, and that's why, like, to your point about being fucking over the, like, in some level,
I'm over it.
Right, like the Bonds Clemens part isn't an interesting. Other than I think this has been interesting, but I don't think that like the debate of their candidacy, what they do with these other people because of the standard that they themselves have set, is to me like a more compelling thing. Like when I will look for Bonds and Clemens first, but I ultimately will dig into after the fact, like what decisions were made as it relates to Don Mattingly, Delgado, all these other people that we were talking about, because that's the conundrum that they've really they can continue to be hypocritical about the Bonds Clemens stuff. And I don't like, again, it's almost like people are over calling them on it, but what they do with these other people, like, how do you look Don Mattingly in the face and be like, nah.
How do you look Harold Don Mattingly? How do you look Jeff Kent in the face? Like we're talking about, take Jeff Kent's candidacy, for example, 2,298 games, 2,298 games played to Harold Baines's 2,830. All right. We're talking about a 500, 600 plus gap in terms of games played there. And the production speaks for itself. 55.4 wins above replacement for Jeff Kent, who hit 290, which was a point higher than Harold Baines's 289 career average. His on-base percentage was exactly the same as Harold Baines. His slugging percentage was 500. Harold Baines, 465. The OPS for Harold Baines was 820 to Jeff Kent's 855. You like OPS plus? 121 for Harold Baines. Great job. Jeff Kent, 123. Just better. Just better. That's all just better.
I think the Hall of Fame standard shouldn't actually be held to, are you better than Harold Baines?
I don't think so either.
Like I think the Hall of Fame should be looking at this saying, all right, we fucked that one up. How do we get back to a higher standard for the Hall of Fame? Instead of being like, well, if you're better than Harold Baines, you're in. Welcome to Cooperstown. Like, that shouldn't be the narrative.
No, but that will always be, and it's because Jay has brainwashed us to to look at it this way and go,
Yeah.
well, if this guy's here and it's because Jay Hay doesn't agree with the whole, well, he was a great player for a lot of years. He was a compiler, but you got to be good to be a compiler. He got big hits. His contemporaries feared him when he was at the plate in big situations, blah, blah, blah. Like, but this is all of those things.
But Jared's right. I agree 100%. If I wasn't clear earlier, that's what I think the standard should be. But these are real people. And so like you have put Harold Baines in the Hall of Fame. And if everybody's just like, that was a fuck up behind the scenes, they're never going to come out and say that, then okay, I guess you just kind of got to accept that. But like Don Mattingly can't really be taking this situation. Like if it does erode credibility, even if it's a mistake, even if it's a one-off thing, it erodes credibility, both for people like us who like to care about it and for people that are really in the game. Don Mattingly had a better real career than Harold Baines and has been like a manager or a coach for decades afterwards. Like he's just in the game of baseball forever. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Donnie Baseball?
Yeah, literally the name Donnie Baseball. Like, oh, okay. Well, I guess that the face of the New York Yankees for a decade. Like, oh, that okay. I guess that just doesn't really matter in the end because, and he's got to accept that. But like, this is the other thing. Like we keep saying we can't care anymore. Dallas, you're saying you don't care. I'm saying I care less and less every year. And then it's the only thing that gets me this mad.
Yep.
Like, I do this every time. I do this every single year.
So do I.
I wasn't even planning to walk in. What did I put this? Like 5th in the rundown? Like whatever.
Yeah.
And
I told you we were walking down the same path holding hands.
Mad.
I've been trying to let go of your hand for fucking 15 minutes here. Harold Baines, fuck, what was I just going to say? My God.
I have a question for you guys.
Yes. Oh, no, hold on. Before you pose a question,
okay.
This was what I was going to say. You want to talk about awkwardness? Imagine these guys on the ballot right now being in a restaurant, just hanging out together. And in walks Harold Baines with his jacket on. Hey, fuck, what's up, boys? How you doing? What's going on? What are you guys been up to?
For everyone.
How's that like? And now let's say somebody walks up to that group and is like, I can't fucking believe this. Like, what are the odds? Gary Sheffield, Don Mattingly, Jeff Kent, Harold Baines, all you guys in the same fucking, at the same table? This is fucking wild. Donnie Baseball, fuck, man. I remember you growing up with fucking Yankees, fucking incredible chef. You, huh? The fucking homers, incredible. Jeff Kidd, I mean, fuck, I didn't know you broke your leg, fell, washing your car and shit. That was crazy. But I mean, fucking one of the best second basemen. This is nuts. And Harold, that's a fucking sweet jacket.
But that kind of plays into the question that I was going to ask.
What?
So the question is, will it be more awkward if Bonds and Clemens get in, or will it be more awkward if Bonds and Clemens do not get in?
The meetings, the scrums, the dinners, those things, I don't know that they become more awkward with those guys there. And it almost feels like the same could be said if they weren't there. Like, all right, out of sight, out of mind, we're not going to have those conversations because, again, what would that look like? It would look like 4 or 5 guys in the room in jackets sitting over here talking about another couple guys in the room wearing jackets over there and using those guys as an example to go, why aren't these other guys who aren't in this room wearing jackets, why aren't they here? If that guy and that guy are here, how is that guy not here? Like, I don't, I hope that's not something that happens, but I'm an old baseball player and I can tell you how old baseball players speak. And those are conversations that happen about what that guy could do and what that guy could do and what this guy was capable of and what this guy was capable of. And so when you don't have to have those conversations anymore and you just boil it down to like the overall career, there's not a conversation to be had. There's just not.
Yeah. I hope we see the day. I hope we see the day.
Jay, hey, we're not celebrating.
Yeah, you are.
Or are we?
I think
Celebrating what?
I think that
Jared said, I hope we see the day. And I said, we're not celebrating. Are we?
I think the Hall of Fame would gladly put Curt Schilling into the Hall of Fame. It's almost like all right, we agree to take the death penalty off the table if you agree to a guilty plea and life without parole deal. All right, Curt, we'll put you in the Hall of Fame if you agree you don't get a speech. Like, you don't get to come, you don't get a live microphone, you get the plaque, you get to, when you sign stuff, you can put HOF on it, sure. No speech, though. You good with that?
And when you show up, we're going to put you in one of those Hannibal Lecter carts, then wheel you around.
Could you imagine Schill just fucking right here with the Lecter mask on while they're announcing his name, and then they just fucking wheel him off? He ain't waving.
Put him right back on the plane.
He is strapped to that board.
Yeah. Put him back on the plane. Yeah. I mean, he should be in. He should be in, but he should not be in front of a live microphone. No.
Yeah. I was super passionate about his statistical candidacy.
Again,
I mean, it's
same.
In terms of rage watching or hate watching,
oof.
You mean to tell me that if Curt Schilling was inducted into the Hall of Fame, that the people who tune in to hear what that speech would sound like, nobody's interested in that?
For the record, he's not on this ballot for anyone keeping score at home.
No.
Jay, hey, do you, because I feel this way too. I don't know what your personal relationship was like with him. I know that you had one. I'm not saying I feel personally responsible, but I do feel like I could have made more of an impact and help save himself from himself. I do feel like I could have had more of an impact on him actually getting in by just trying to get through to him to stop talking. Just don't say those things.
Yeah. I both feel that way and also feel like I gave that a real good shot, like a real good effort. If I knew exactly what I knew now, I feel like I could probably be more proactive in the right way. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know how steep the descent is in some ways as it's happening. And
that's exactly what I was going to say, is how quickly it happened, Jay. How so quickly fast. He went from like the guy we knew, right? The dude we knew, to kind of what came after.
Yeah. Like was he my best friend in the world? No, but like we spent an enormous amount of time together with work, with travel. It was at a period where Baseball Tonight was traveling almost every weekend for Sunday Night Baseball. He was part of the road team. I was part of the road team. Like, there was a lot of time spent that way. Like, he treated me like I got to fly privately on the only times in my life, like on his dime, essentially, because that's how he wanted to go for World Series stuff. Like, Ravi and I went to go see him in the hospital when he had cancer. Like, that was like, I cared. I do on some level care, but like, the swiftness, the swiftness that it went from blustering loudmouth to like, but somebody that like you're around, to whatever you want to call the current state of things, or the state that it's been in the last half decade or whatever, was as swift as you could possibly imagine. And I just don't know how much, other than pure hindsight, how much, differently things would go. Didn't plan on talking about that, but that's my take on that. Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks. Yeah. I mean, I feel that all the time. Like, this is a dude that like welcomed me into his home.
Yeah.
Like, was invited to like his surprise, I believe, 50th birthday. Yeah. Like, I wish that he had taken the advice that he had gotten, not just from any of us, but just I'm sure there were plenty of people in his corner that were just like, please just stop talking. And
like,
you will be enshrined in Cooperstown forever if you can just stop talking.
just don't print the shirt, man.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, it was a Google image search.
Like, don't print the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like selfishly, I've had it blocked, whatever, on socials for years, basically since it started, because there's a part of me like that is some of the best work memories that I have. And like, I don't necessarily like doing the post 2012 World Series drive from Detroit with this random ass driver, Ravi, Schill, Francona, and me all the way to the East Coast to try and beat the hurricane that was coming, the storm, is like an elite tier memory for me in terms of work, not my family life, but like in all the work stuff that I've done. And like, I can't log on to social media, see what he is presumably getting after, and feel the same way about that. And so it's like, I know what's out there. I can't ignore it completely, but like in terms of engaging it or giving it my emotional investment moving forward, we got memories and then we've got moving forward. And it just can't dabble in it, you know?
Mm. That's fair.
So it's a bummer. I mean, I agree with you. Big time.
It is a bummer. Yeah. I do think about it from time to time. The what if. Kind of like I think about the what if of the baseball is dead merch store, you know? Like, what if
one of the
what
all
if we
timers?
just
Yeah.
yeah, like what if we just had one?
Is that happening this year?
I think it might have been. It could have been 27, could have been 26, could have been 25. We don't know.
I thought that was coming next year.
Yeah, no, we don't know.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't know. But when it does come, yeah, when it does come, we'll obviously be using Shopify.
Yep.
Yeah. Finding the right tool that helps you out, but simplifies everything can be such a game changer for millions of businesses. That tool is Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started. We use Shopify for the Section 10 merch store. We will be using it for the Baseball is Dead merch store.
No doubt.
It's coming. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store to match your brand style. Accelerate your content creation. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping and to processing returns and beyond. If you are ready to sell, you are ready for Shopify. Turn your big business idea into cash with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/dead. That's DEAD. Go to shopify.com/dead. Shopify.com/dead. Wow.
I'm excited to open this tweet. Let's. Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
that's what I said.
Jesus Christ.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. And hey,
That guy is.
oh,
Wait, I think I knew that.
and I have an incredible story to tell you two offline that I cannot share online.
Jeez, man.
That's not the sort of decision making I need as my
Yeah.
whatever. We'll just.
Well, I mean, hey, Jay, your idea of talent and his idea of talent just might be different
Yeah.
when it comes to identifying talent.
T's got strep throat.
That's unfortunate. He is sick every 2 days.
Yeah, but like he's been sick for like the last 2 weeks because he just went undiagnosed. He goes to urgent care instead of going to a real doctor when he gets sick. I was like, brother, you don't have chlamydia. Like you have like a sickness that needs to be treated by a real doctor. Like you go to urgent care to piss test if your dick burns. You don't go to urgent care if your throat is closing up. So he finally went to a real doctor and they were like, oh yeah, you have strep. And he's just been untreated for 2 weeks. Man, Milky, he's a one of a kind, brother.
Yeah.
He's a one of a kind, brother. You know that kind of guy.
Fair to say.
He's a special case.
Well,
speaking of things that are special.
Uh-oh. We back?
Oh, welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud.
Wow. It's been a minute.
I'm your man, Justin Havens. We are very much back. It is off-season mode, so we will be getting Family Feud every week, every Thursday. We are back. I brought a humdinger for you boys today. The Discord. Oh, they were ready. They were ready for the challenge. We'll see whether you guys are. If I remember correctly, and I'm not the young man I used to be, I do feel like we're back to everyone's favorite lineup, which is Jared leading off and Dallas closing. Is that how you guys remember it?
This?
Mm-hmm.
No, I said I'm not sure. I prefaced the whole thing by saying I'm not sure.
Fair enough.
But it does feel like the way we should at least start the offseason off, clean slate, all that sort of stuff. So Dallas, you want to pop that top? Be very gentle with those headphones. You've been on a roll with that. Yep. I just cursed the shit out of that. That's fuck. How are you feeling about this?
I am a little bit, I guess cautious would be the word, because it's an off-season edition. I feel like during the season, you kind of know where the questions are going to be, at least from a general sense. And I feel like in the off-season, we might get a little wonky.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to keep it off-season focused for the most part this time, but it will get wonky down the stretch for sure. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right. As always, it's out of 100 BID fans. Thank you to the Discord, as always, for their efforts here. Question number 1. Now that the postseason is over, how many pitchers in MLB would you say you're confident are better than Yoshinobu Yamamoto entering the 2026 season?
Ooh, 2.
Okay. Question number 2. Rounded to the nearest 10%, so 20%, 50%, 90%, what percentage of Tarek Skubal's 2026 regular season starts will be made in a Tigers uniform?
0%.
Oh, Jared with the first hot one of the day. I love that. All right. Question number 3. Orion Kerkering, Edward Bizzardo, Jeff Hoffman, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Addison Barger. Of those 5 players, Kerkering, Bizzardo, Hoffman, Kiner-Falefa, Barger, whose fuck up deserves to be most remembered from the 2025 postseason?
IKF.
Question number 3. 4. This is a tough one, so stay with me here. Order these free agents by the total value of their free agent contract signed this offseason. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Smallest to largest. It's 5 people. I will repeat them if you want me to, because we don't really time this anymore. Kyle Schwarber, Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, Cody Bellinger, Bo Bichette. Schwarber, Alonso, Bregman, Bellinger,
Can I
Bichette.
write these down?
Sure.
Schwarber, Bellinger.
Yep.
Who else?
Bregman.
Bregman.
Schwarber, Alonso, Bregman, Bellinger, Bichette.
Okay. Total dollars.
Don't take too long.
Man, this is fuck. All right. Okay.
All right, go. Smallest to largest.
Bellinger, Bregman, Alonso, Bo, Schwarber.
Love it. Final question. Order these free agent pitchers by the total value of their free agent contracts signed this offseason, smallest to largest. This one's only 4. Ranger Suarez, Dylan Cease, Michael King, Framber Valdez. Smallest to largest.
Okay. Let's go fucking King, Ranger, Cease, Framber.
Thank you. All right, DB, pop him back on.
He's sleeping.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, gotcha. How
Nice,
fucking
nice,
long
nice.
was that? Jesus.
Yeah, it was long. Some of the questions, I got a little excited, a little carried away on one of the questions. It takes a little bit of
Little
processing. Yeah, I mean, we don't really time this stuff anymore. So, sometimes I get a little carried away. But I'm going to talk to, let's be a little tighter on this one. All right, thank you. Just talk to my timer guy off to the side.
Oh, right on. Sure.
Question, are you ready?
Yeah. I mean, if you're truncating my time a lot, yeah, this sounds fun.
No, not truncating. I just want to make sure everybody's buttoned up over there. Just want to make sure
Okay.
buttoned. The
You
easiest
should
question.
tell him ahead of time that the last 2 questions he has the ability to write them down.
Yeah, I'm going to give you the ability to write down your
Fuck.
if you'd like. You
Holy
certainly
fuck.
don't have to.
Writing shit down?
Yeah. I will ask you to be prompt once that's taken care of, but
No, I'm taking my Otani 5 minutes. Well, fuck it. I don't have a pen. I don't know where to
Nice.
find it.
this should go well.
Fuck. Here we go. We have fucking kick ass.
Yeah, you'll be fine. It's in a format that you've done before. All right, are you ready?
Ready. Let's go.
Question number 1, as always, out of 100. Now that the postseason is over, how many pitchers in MLB would you say you're confident are better than Yoshinobu Yamamoto entering the 26th season?
2.
Oh shit. Wrong one. First one of the offseason. Sorry.
3.
I love that we start off that way. Question number 2, rounded to the nearest 10%, so 20%, 50%, 90%. What percentage of Tarek Skubal's 2026 regular season starts will be made in a Tigers uniform?
60%.
Question number 3. Orion Kirkering, Edward Bizzardo, Jeff Hoffman, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Addison Barger. Those 5 guys. Of those 5 players, whose fuck up deserves to be most remembered from the 2025 postseason? Kirkering, Bizzardo, Hoffman, Kiner-Falefa, Barger.
Fuck, it's tough not to put it on Hoff because he gave up the dick shot, but you can't fucking eliminate Barger's blunder. We saw the fucking base coach draw the line, so is that a mistake? No, he's following rules. Barger.
Question 4. Order these free agents by the total value of their free agent contract signed
Oh, Jesus.
this offseason. Smallest to largest. Okay?
So who's getting the least to
Correct. Schwarber, it's 5 people. Schwarber, Alonso, Bregman, Bellinger, Bichette.
most? Bellinger, Alonso, Bichette.
You have Bregman and
Bellinger,
Schwarber
Alonso,
left.
Bregman, Bichette,
Okay.
and then the fucking other two.
And then Schwarber?
Yeah.
Bellinger, Alonso, Bregman, Bichette, Schwarber. Okay.
Yes.
Final question. Order these free agent pitchers by the total value of their free agent contract signed this offseason, smallest to largest. It's only 4 this time. Ranger Suarez, Dylan Cease, Michael King, Framber Valdez.
Smallest to largest.
Yes.
King Cease. Who was the other one?
Suarez, Valdez.
King Cease, Suarez, Valdez.
Got it. All right, let's do this.
So for the ones that were ordered,
yeah,
like there was literally ones that were back to back that we just flipped. I went King, Ranger, Cease, Framber, and I went Bellinger, Bregman, Alonso, Bo, Schwarber. So I think you flipped Bregman and Alonso, and you flipped Ranger and Cease.
Yeah. Yeah, I got confused. I had Bo getting more, and I started him lower. Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Question 1. Now that the postseason's over, how many pitchers in MLB would you say you're confident are better than Yoshinobu Yamamoto entering the 26th season? You guys nailed this one. Jared said 2. That was the second most common answer, 29 points. Dallas said 2. That was obviously a good answer. 3 was even better, 38 points, the number 1 overall answer. So you guys came away with a very healthy 67 points out of the first question. You're basically a third of the way there.
After I said 2, I wanted to say 3, but I was like, fuck. I was like, 2's probably going to end up being fine, but I want to say 3.
I'm glad you guys ended there because those were, in my head, the 2 answers that I expected to see at the top. Rounded to the nearest 10%, so 20, 50, 90. What percentage of Scooble's 26 starts will be made in a Tigers uniform? Jared, maybe the first hot take of the offseason, said 0%. That was the second most common answer. That got another 23 points, so we're already up to 90 points. Dallas said 60%. That was the third most common answer, but we're up to 105 points because that's another 15 points. The most common answer was 100%. 38 was the answer there. So,
because they've come out and said that they're not going to.
Right. So yeah, and just like, sometimes
that's
the
why
extremes
I cut that bitch in half.
I understand where you're coming from.
Because I was like, he'll make half.
100, 0. Those were the top answers this time, but you guys came out of here with nearly 40 points on this question as well. So we're up to 105 through 2 questions. Question number 3, Kirkering, Bizzardo, Hoffman, Kiner, Falefa, Barger. Jared said Isaiah Kiner Falefa. He's part of the mean internet mob that has taken over in the Kiner Falefa situation.
Yep. Yes, he is.
Can't do the right thing. He's a hater.
That is 25 points, the second most common answer. We're up to 130 points. Dallas said Addison Barger. That was the 4th most common answer.
Wow.
But it did get you 15 points. So not a total disaster, but the 4th most common answer. Bizzardo, I think probably pretty obviously, was the 5th, the least most common answer. Only 2 points there. Orion Kirkering, the number 1 answer with 38 points. It is hard to get the visual of that out of my head, I'll be honest. Of just completely
It was the more
throwing the ball away.
impactful moment, but it just, the stakes weren't high enough yet.
For sure.
In my mind.
For sure.
Yeah. There was still an opportunity for the series to be won.
Yes.
Yes.
Question number 4, order these free agents by the total value of their contract. Jared said Bellinger, Bregman, Alonso, Bichette, Schwarber. That got you 5 points.
Oh, God.
5 points.
There are just entirely too many combinations.
It's possible. It's possible there are too many combinations here, but nevertheless, didn't land on the number 1 answer there. Dallas had Bellinger, Alonso, Bregman, Bichette, Schwarber. That was 4 points. 154. So we have arrived at the last question, needing
these questions.
46 points. Jared said King, Suarez, Cease, Valdez. That was worth another 5 points
This is bullshit.
to 159. So you guys are grinding it out here at the end.
Fucking Hussein strikes again.
Yeah, this is a bullshit. And like, I could understand doing this once in a Family Feud, but the last two questions, having 100 possible combinations.
Jared, I was just gonna say, there's more possible combinations than there are fucking points available. You dickhead.
We were
you
cruising.
knew exactly what you were doing.
So King, Cease, Suarez, Valdez. That was pretty good. That was 6 points. So
What the?
you guys got to 165. So you came up a little bit short. Might have been a little too hard.
Was it even possible to win once we got to the 2?
Of course. So well.
Of course. Like that's fucking just you're like, yeah, duh. What do you
So
think?
we have 2, and I use this word sparingly, 2 baseball experts who gave you almost identical lists that got responses from the discourse that were basically telling us that we're fucking morons.
Idiots.
Well, no, I mean, so the most common answer for the pitcher one was Suarez, King, Valdez, Cease, which I don't think is right, but that was the most common answer.
They got
how
Cease
many
getting more
points?
money than Fromber Valdez.
That was 10 points.
So
the highest point total, idiot. Like we would have had to have gotten the fucking number one answers on everybody else on every other question, and then gotten the number one answer on these 2 questions just to win. You are a shady fucking cocksucker.
So what we really needed to have happen was we really needed you guys.
Is incredible.
You guys needed to bring home Orion Kerkering, unfortunately, and what we brought home instead was an Addison Barger, and so you're
blaming it on that?
Yeah, just the guy who got doubled off in Game 6 to lose it. Like that's it.
Wow, blaming Addison Barger again. That's tough. Bad luck. I love the discourse. Probably a little bit harder than it should have been, but definitely winnable. I want to emphasize that. Yeah, definitely winnable. Yeah. We needed Kerkering. That would have been helpful. Saying 100% for Scooble instead of 60% would have been helpful. There are ways you guys could have improved too.
Yeah.
So
Jared, I want you to know.
I want you to own some of this. This is on your end.
This is the same asshole who puckered up his lips and said, "Yeah, clean slate, off season, get it started." That's that same dude. Just for the record.
Oh, you guys. I like to start. A bitter start is the best way for us to be starting anyway. It'll fuel you guys for next week. Yep.
We got fucked.
No, well, you did, but it wasn't by me, and it wasn't by the discourse.
The 2 packages headed to Connecticut. Yeah. Could you reroute those? Those are going to go to Saugus. No. I love the discourse. Unbelievable. Start calling you Union Pacific, Mr. Railroad himself.
Oh, come on now.
It's too bad.
Good effort.
I think you also misinterpreted my question. I said once we arrived at questions 5 and 6, did we have a chance to win? No. Which is crazy because I feel like by the time we got to 5 and 6, we were on a pace to break a record.
To score 300 points.
Well, you started off.
Once we got through question 4, I was like, this is too easy. And then we got to 5 and 6. And it's like, well, you're not even eligible to play anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's over. So that's, in a way, I feel like what you just described is more of a lesson for you, right? Where you felt like, oh, things are cruising, like, maybe don't get ahead of yourself a little bit. Because you never know what's coming around the rail,
The audacity.
All right.
The
professionalism.
This son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was a mistake to think that all was well. Because
I guess.
How do you?
Yeah, I'm
how do you
gathering
put
that now.
to-
Yeah.
How do you put that together and look at us and go, so what have you learned?
Yeah.
well, I'm always trying to learn. I'll digest this with the crew. We'll talk about it. We'll see what was good and what was bad, what we liked, what we didn't like. But nobody, the discourse, as you like to say, is always correct because it's the answer of 100 people. You can't tell the people that they're wrong.
No, you can actually. You can.
Yeah.
I think you actually did that. You said, well, that's not right.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, discourse. Who wants to get the shit slapped out of him on opening day?
Guys, we're going to have to.
Guys, we're gonna have to make it a little easier next week for them. They're obviously hurting a little bit right now, but we'll make them feel good. We'll make them feel good.
I love how every time that we lose, Dallas puts the open bitch slap challenge out.
Yeah, these losses are definitely about me. Yeah, Dallas is starting to fight people anytime he loses, but yeah.
Who wants fucking field passes for BP and a bitch slap?
Well, I can't wait till next week. All right. Out of the 1,500 free agents over the last 35 years.
Yeah. By war, rank all of the Hall of Famers who have played first base. Go.
Oh, good run. Good effort. Good effort.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Really makes me want a Ridge wallet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Ridge wallet. They don't just have wallets though. That's the thing. Yeah. I think I used to have like this giant brick of a wallet. Like that's not what I know. That's not what I want. That's not what I need. Yeah, Ridge wallet, it looks cool. It's durable. You're never going to lose the thing. Slim modern wallets, they're very unique. They just took their wallet game and made it even better. Say hello to the Ridge 2.0, the most refined version of the Ridge wallet. Ridge has been perfecting the wallet for 12 years. Everything is better on Ridge 2.0. It's 10% lighter. Every gram matters in the Ridge Wallet 2.0. They found the perfect balance. They made it more modular with improved cash straps, money clips, and the AirTag attachments. Improved surface with logos, plated cash straps made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. Holds up to 12 cards plus cash, over 50 plus colors and styles to choose from. You can even get a wallet that features every NFL, MLB, or college team. Perfect for holiday gifting, especially since Ridge is having their biggest sale of the year right now. Plus, all Ridge wallets have a new industry-leading built-for-life warranty. So even if your wallet is lost or stolen, they've got you covered. Does it give you peace of mind knowing that all Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology, keeping you safe from digital pickpocketers? Over 100,000 five-star reviews, proof that Ridge is a gift people love to receive. Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create premium everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and their game-changing power banks, all built with the same sleek, durable design. You'll find the perfect gift for every wish list. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with Ridge Tracker Card, you'll always know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. Perfect peace of mind for holiday travel and gifting. Give the gift that stays out of the junk drawer and find their way into morning routines, travels, and adventures. For a limited time, Ridge is having their huge Black Friday sale. Head to ridge.com to get up to 47% off your order. That is probably the best offer I've seen in any ad read. This is the best, by far the biggest discount they've given all year. That's ridge.com for up to 47. Shout out to Tom Glavin, 47% off your order for the biggest sale of the year. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support Baseball is Dead and tell them that we sent you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys as always. Any final thoughts or nugs?
Final thoughts. Excited to see what free agency starts to look like, how quickly things move. I think that's something that we are all excited about. I think in recent years, we've been treated to some some early action, or at least when things start to wind down, some action. So I'm just, just that time of year again.
Jay?
I guess my final thoughts are just that the transaction window continues to open, and I know it's mostly been pretty anticipated moves. I did think that the Imanaga situation was a little bit interesting. I don't necessarily. I think it's a quick turn of events for a guy who I know he was very bad during the end of the season, and I'm sure that the Cubs know more about him and what his situation is health wise or projectability wise moving forward. But if we're just looking at it from what was this player's role supposed to be entering last season, and do you have people to fill that role entering 26? I think that they are no longer in the Imanaga business is interesting. And I think how they make over their rotation and the degree to which they do it is a very interesting offseason story. The Jack Flaherty player option, we had talked about that towards the end of the season as to what his decision would be there and how it didn't really seem to make a lot of sense intuitively. If he had trouble getting a long-term deal entering last offseason, that he would be able to secure it entering this offseason, given that he was definitively worse. And he seemed to feel the same way. Although I think there is some silver lining for this in the Tigers sense that they have somebody in the rotation who can be counted on to some level. And then just Salvador Perez being back with the Royals. I don't think anybody ever anticipated him leaving, but him being back on a 2-year deal, I think is kind of cool. And then nothing necessarily to talk about, but the awards finalists were announced. And I did feel that two of them were interesting in particular, although not surprising. Anthony, Kurtz, and Wilson being the trio in the AL Rookie of the Year is just so funny and cool, because I feel like it was a case where we spent an inordinate amount of time talking about those three people, both before they were awesome and while they were awesome. And to have been quote unquote, I mean, it was mostly you guys, but like to have been so ahead of the curve on both of those players, or all three of those players rather, I just thought was very cool, and that they were all in the hunt for real in the end, even though we all obviously know Kurtz is going to win the award. And then just lastly, that the AL Cy Young will be some order of Skubal, Crochet, and Hunter Brown. And the NL Cy Young Award winner will be Paul Skeens. And, selfish plug for Underdog MLB purposes. Those people are all found on Slab Lab. And I think that's kind of a cool feather in the cap for year one, that the literal finalists on one side and the actual winner on the other side are alum of that program. So shout out to DB on that one and everybody involved in that project as well. But yeah, those are my final thoughts.
Love that.
All right. We're cooking on some off-season content ideas.
Cooking.
I would say anticipate content that you've never gotten from us before this off-season. And to the question of when is that coming, we're working on it. I would say sooner rather than later. Yeah, sooner rather than later. We've got some meetings lined up for discussing how to facilitate this. It's just a matter of what avenue we're going to take to get it done. But yeah, we're going to be bringing you guys some really cool off-season content to scratch that baseball itch this winter. And I mean, it's for us too. I mean, we want it. Like, what do you expect us to do? Want to hang out with our families and our friends and stuff? No, like we want to make more baseball content. So, all right, we'll see you guys on Monday.
Wow.